It is simply amazing how such a tiny minority in our country, just 0.3%, has forced a national debate about whether the public bathroom they visit should or should not match the gender of their plumbing. The entire notion of gender is being questioned. It is now bigoted to believe we live in a gender-binary world. The idea that humans come in only two flavors, male and female, is seen as outdated, old-fashioned, antiquated, and just plain mean. Now we must accept gender fluidity. Children as young as 4 are being encouraged to choose their gender identity, as if it were a Halloween costume. And according to a noted psychiatrist, that's just about right. As CNS News reports, Dr. Paul R. McHugh, the Distinguished Service Professor of Psychiatry at Johns Hopkins University and former psychiatrist in chief for Johns Hopkins Hospital, who has studied transgendered people for 40 years, said it is a scientific fact that transgendered men do not become women, nor do transgendered women become men. All such people, he explained in an article for the Witherspoon Institute, become feminized men or masculinized women, counterfeits or impersonators of the sex with which they identify. Dr. McHugh, who was psychiatrist-in-chief at Johns Hopkins Hospital for 26 years, the medical institute that had initially pioneered sex change surgery, and later ceased the practice, stressed that the cultural meme, or idea that one's sex is fluid and a matter of choice, is extremely damaging, especially to young people. Now this will really whip liberals into a frenzy, but Dr. McHugh says those who wish to change their gender suffer from a psychiatric condition, not an accident of birth. Gender dysphoria, the official psychiatric term for feeling oneself to be of the opposite sex, belongs in the family of similarly disordered assumptions about the body, such as anorexia nervosa and body dysmorphic disorder, said McHugh. Its treatment should not be directed at the body as with surgery and hormones any more than one treats obesity-fearing anorexic patients with liposuction, he said. Perhaps the most tragic part of this new trend is the consequence. After the immense pain and hardship of transitioning, a high percentage of transgendered individuals eventually take their own lives. When the tumult and shouting dies, McHugh continued, it proves not easy nor wise to live in a counterfeit sexual garb. The most thorough follow-up of sex reassigned people extending over 30 years and conducted in Sweden, where the culture is strongly supportive of the transgendered, documents their lifelong mental unrest. 10 to 15 years after surgical reassignment, the suicide rate of those who had undergone sex reassignment surgery rose to 20 times that of comparable peers, said McHugh. I will probably get hammered by our liberal readers for apparently trivializing this issue, but here I go anyway. When I was growing up in the 70s, there was a TV commercial for chiffon margarine, which apparently tasted just like butter, but it's not. The very last, and very famous, line from the commercial was, "It's not nice to fool Mother Nature." Apparently that is still the case.